Good morning, my YouTube family. I came on. I want to give you guys a quick update. I apologize that I haven't been on in quite a while. There's really no excuse, so I just, you know, just was giving myself a break. I don't know. Every time I thought I was going to make a video, it just didn't happen. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for sticking with me, and to all my new subscribers, thank you and welcome. I'm going to give you guys a quick update. I know the last time I left off with you guys, I told you that, about the miscarriage and how we're going to just try next cycle and try to get a positive, because I know some women, after miscarriages, get pregnant again right away, which is what we did, but I'll get there in a second. Okay, so my last cycle um, started December 7th, and it was normal. Everything was fine, just like the one in November. October was the miscarriage. So November and December cycle was fine. Then I went in, and I'm just looking down at my notes. I have my little book here, and I do have kind of a sore throat, so just ignore that. Then I went in on December 18th. So my cycle started December 7th. It was regular. Then on December 18th, I went in and had a HSG done. That was actually the second time I've had that procedure done. The first time was actually after, well, actually, that's the third time I've had it done, because the very first time was right after I had my tubal reversal. The doctor did it just to make sure that my tubes were open and everything were good. Then I'd say maybe 5 or 6 months after that, I had another one, and they were open. She was worried about scar tissue and everything, but they were open and everything was good. So this was my third one on December 18th, with actually a new RE that we had started to see. And that was the most painful thing I think I wouldn't say ever went through, but it was definitely a lot worse than the previous two. Once she finally got everything set up in there and she's pushing the dye through, the right side of my tube, it went straight through, no problems. The left side, it took some effort. So she was pushing and it was kind of blocked, and I don't know what it was that was blocking it, whether it was scar tissue or whatever, I'm not sure, but she did eventually push it hard enough to where whatever it was came on, the dye came on through. But the pain was just like, oh my God. And I'm not a screamer or a yeller or anything like that when I'm in pain. I'm a silent cry type person. So I was just like, ugh. It was terrible. But they were both open after she pushed real good. The both sides were open. So, had that done and was praying that, with that, you know, I would get pregnant again, and we would be good. So started doing OBKs. I do the clear blue digital smiley face ones now. I just, the whole line thing, it's like we always miss it. It's like, is it dark enough? Is it not dark enough? And I really, really love the smiley faces. There's really, it's a no-brainer for me. It's like, oh, okay, it's flashing, then I'm getting ready. Or if it's a solid smiley face, then, I'm at peak, and, we'll baby dance. So we started doing those around right after the HSG, really. And we got a positive on December 21st, and also on December 22nd. So we baby danced, the 21st, the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. I believe the 25th too, but I'm not sure. So we baby danced. So, because I'm psycho, I started I started pregnancy testing around the 29th, I think. Just the little cheap Walmart ones. So I started testing. Of course, it was negative. Tested the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st. It was all negative. Now, I wasn't expecting AF until around the 5th to the 7th of January. Because I started my cycle December 7th, I figured, okay, it'll probably come around the same time. It normally does. So I was really shocked January 1st to wake up and AF was there. Sorry, somebody's calling me. Sorry. So tested the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, all negative. Get up January 1st and AF. And I'm like, okay, first of all, she's early. And second, damn, I thought I was going to really get it this cycle. But, we just said, okay, whatever. We were actually going out of town that weekend. So we did. We went out of town. We enjoyed ourselves. AF was a normal flow, heavy, the first 3 days. And when I had my tubal reversal, as you guys know, I had some fibroids removed as well. And before the fibroids, my cycle was really, really heavy. The cramps were unbearable. It was just crazy. Well, since then, my cycle, even though it's a heavy flow, it's a light type of cycle. And I don't think this is TMI, because every woman has a cycle. So it's still heavy, but it's thin, if that makes sense. It's like more of a watery type cycle. But so we went out of town. It was a regular cycle, 3 days of heavy flow, and then 3 days of spotting, regular thing. And we got back after that weekend, and let's see. I'm not sure exactly what day. I think it was like the 8th. The 8th we baby danced, January 8th. And then the 9th, I told my husband, I said, I feel like I'm ovulating. And a woman who's trying to get pregnant knows that feeling. When you're not trying to get pregnant, you rarely even pay attention to it. But when you're trying to have a baby, you know that feeling, and then the twinges, and the increased cervical mucus. You're just like, what is this? I feel like I'm ovulating. And I told my husband, I said, well, I have an ovulation kit, test in there. I'm just going to take it for the hell of it. And bam, it didn't even blink a whole 30 seconds. Boom, a smiley face shows up, a solid smiley face. And I'm like, what? How is this possible? I just ovulated December 21st and 22nd. And here it is January 9th, and I'm getting a positive OBK. So I said, okay, this is totally weird. Me and my husband are just like, how, this is weird. So we go to Walmart because we practically live there. And I hate Walmart, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me, but even though I'm in Walmart a lot, I hate Walmart. The lines are ridiculous. It's always crowded. I just don't get it. It's like they're giving something free away. But anyway, so little tangent there. So we go to Walmart. We're shopping. I pass up the pregnancy test aisles, and of course, I have to buy more tests. So I buy tests. And usually they're out of the cheapies. So when I saw them there, I'm like, I better get these while they're getting this good. So I go ahead and I buy those. And, because I'm psycho again, I come home and this is actually the next day. So the 9th, I got the positive OPK. The next day on the 10th, that's when we were at Walmart. I bought the test. I come home and he's like, I know you're going to take one. I'm like, I'm not going to take one. For what? But of course, I'm crazy. So I had to take one. And immediately, once the urine went past there, 2 lines, boom, right away. And I'm like, what? This is so retarded, because I'm like, how is this happening? And so we got a positive pregnancy test January 10th. Now we're both confused because I had a regular cycle. This wasn't implantation bleeding. And I've talked to my doctor, my RE, about that, and I've we stay on Google. So I'm Googling everything, and I'm Googling implantation bleeding because I'm like, was that not a period? Was that implantation bleeding? And it was so weird because my RE asked me, she said, well, what kind of flow was it? Was it just a really light flow, spotting? And I told her, I said, no. I said, this was a regular flow. So much, in fact, that while we were out of town, I actually had to change clothes because I messed my clothes up. That's how it was, just so watery and just flowing out, and just, it was a regular cycle. It lasted the regular time. There wasn't anything where I can say, well, you know what, I did kind of spot, or you know what, this what didn't seem right. No, it was a regular cycle. So I told her that, and she was just baffled, and she was like, okay, well, she was worried about a tubal pregnancy because um she was saying that, well, she wanted me to come in. She said, okay, well, I'm confused about that. Let's just have you come in and let's get some numbers going. So I went in. um I believe that the 10th, I'm not sure what day that was on. I believe that was on a Friday, because I didn't go in to take my first HCG and progesterone test until the 12th. Now, when I go to take that, my HSG is 139.3 and my progesterone is 0.3. Now, they say that you have to have at least a 5 or above for it to be considered what they would call a normal pregnancy. But that is still extremely low. Most women start off at least at the 10 mark for progesterone when it's a normal pregnancy. So they were like, okay, 0.3, this is not a normal pregnancy. Most likely you're miscarrying. And I'm like, I was still kind of baffled, because I'm like, I still don't even understand how this is happening, because like I said, from the 21st of December getting a positive OBK, and then testing negative the whole time until January 1st, AF comes. And it's like, okay, it's a regular cycle. Now all of a sudden I'm pregnant. So I'm like, okay, so that was the first levels. My HCG was 139.3 and my progesterone was 0.3. So I said, okay. So she said, well, come back in 2 days, of course. And I mean, I was really upset. I cried because I'm like, I've never, before going on this journey, I have 3 grown kids. Well, not grown, but my kids are 21, 19, and 16. And of course, you guys know I have my niece now, which I got when she was 3 months old, and she'll be 3 Saturday, the 24th of January. So we're having a party for her and everything. It's awesome. But anyway, so I've only been, before this previous miscarriage, I had only been pregnant 3 times and I had 3 kids. Never had any abortions or miscarriages or anything. So by this being my second miscarriage within a 2-month period, I was really upset, and but I mean, you cry, you give it to God, and you just, that's all you can do. So I went back on the 14th. She took my levels again. My HCG was 317.7 and my progesterone, when they saw that my progesterone was 0.3, they did give me a supplement. So I started taking progesterone. So when I went back the second time, my progesterone had actually rose to 14.3 and my HCG had doubled from 139.3 to 317.7. So it had a little bit more than doubled. So they were really like, what is going on? How could this be happening? For me to go back just a little bit, and oh God, I'm already at 13 minutes. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to go back real quick. Now, when I got the first progesterone of the 0.3, I asked her, I said, well, considering that I had a regular normal cycle, would that be the reason my progesterone is so low? Because, once you shed your lining, when you start your AF, your progesterone drops. Your progesterone builds you up, thickens up your lining, and get your eggs ready to be released. Once the egg does not get, once you don't get pregnant, AF comes and your lining decreases, of course, gets thin, and your progesterone goes down. That's how it works. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's why my progesterone is so low, because I did have a normal cycle. And she said, well, it still wouldn't be that low and your HCG doubling the way it is. So after the supplements, it did go up to 14.3. So, we went in we went in again 2 days later after that, and my HCG had actually only went up to 408. So from 317.7 to 408, it did not double. And my progesterone was I believe it was around the same. I actually didn't write that down. So I said, okay, me and my husband were already kind of knowing that this wasn't a good pregnancy. Um, so it was like, okay, my numbers are slowing down. So then she had us come in yesterday, which was the 22nd of January, and I had an ultrasound, and she couldn't see anything in my uterus. She couldn't see anything in my cervix. I mean, everything just looked normal pretty much. And so I'm like, okay, she was still worried about a tubal pregnancy. And, for those of you who don't know, even if you're pregnant in your tubes, your numbers can still double as if it was a normal pregnancy. So she was really concerned about that, and they were asking me, well, do you feel any pain? Do you feel any cramping or sharp pain or anything like that? And I'm like, no. I've been nauseous a couple of times, but everything was still fine. So she did the ultrasound, didn't see anything. I had another HCG and progesterone draw, and my progesterone came back. I mean, my HCG came back 208. So it went down from 408 to 208. So she's like, okay, it's decreasing. Your body probably absorbed whatever it was, and it's going back. It's going to go back down to 0. Now, and my progesterone was 10.7. So that had actually went down too. So I was a little upset, but I didn't cry or anything. I was just like, man, this is, it was one of those type of upsets, like, damn. Um, but I mean, I have to look at the blessings that's coming out of this. For one, had it been a tubal pregnancy, by now I would have been in really a lot of pain. It could have ruptured, or I would have had to take that shot. I believe it starts with an M. I can't remember what it was, minostressate or something like that. But so it was a blessing that, okay, my numbers are going down. So whatever it is, I just want to go back down to normal. And I was just thankful for that. I was thankful that it wasn't a pregnancy where I had to have a DNC done. It's one thing to be miscarrying, then to have to go in and have to have that done. So I was thankful for that. So at this point, we just want my numbers to go back down to 0, want to have a normal cycle, and then we're going to try again. I mean, that's just what it was. We just looked at it. My husband said, well, babe, you have to look at it like this. Maybe God is just saying, okay, this isn't a good egg. And so I'm not going to let you guys keep this one, and he's just going to give us one that's good. So that's how we looked at it. But I'm still confused. I'm still confused that how I could have a normal regular period. And I asked her, I said, well, was that the miscarriage that I was having when I started bleeding and had a normal cycle? And she said, no. She said, because if that was the miscarriage that you were having, your numbers would not have doubled in the beginning. So that made sense to me. So I said, okay. She said that, I said, well, I'm still confused, And what I can come to, the conclusion that I can come to myself is that, okay, we did get pregnant, of course. And I'm thinking that it may have been in my tube, maybe the one that had a little problem with the dye going through at first. And my body just reabsorbed it, because not everybody that's pregnant in their tubes will have to have surgery or have to have that shot. Your body can break it down and absorb it, just like if you were having some miscarriages don't require a DNC, so I said, okay, and that's what she said. She said, most likely wherever it was, your body is reabsorbing it, and that's why your numbers are coming down. So I'm thinking like, okay, well, maybe I was pregnant in my tubes, which would explain my numbers still doubling, but my progesterone being low because I did have a cycle and my body wasn't really recognizing that I was pregnant. And, now that my body is taking care of it, my numbers are starting to come down. That's the only thing that I can come by. So yeah, ladies, I'm going to go ahead and go because this is already 20 minutes. I'm sorry, my videos are long. It's just what it is. But I just wanted to come on and give you guys an update. I was going to come on earlier and update you guys, but I didn't know anything. And so it was just like, okay, let me get a grip on what's going on, and then I can come back and tell them the story. So right now, my from yesterday it was 208. So we're just gonna keep going in. She wanted me to come in next Thursday, but I think my husband is not on base on Mondays. So I think I'm gonna wait till Monday, and I'm gonna go back in and have another blood draw, and hopefully it's gone down even more. She says of course they're gonna monitor you until you go all the way back down to zero, pretty much. And then of course I should hopefully get my cycle right on cue, and we'll just go from there. Text messages, gosh. So yeah, ladies, that's it. So it looks like that's miscarriage number two. um just keep me in your thoughts and prayers, you guys. And congratulations to all my ladies who's gotten their BFPs, and congratulations to I believe her channel is called God's Waiting for God's Miracle or something like that. She just had her son. And I'm so extremely happy for you guys. And everyone else who's had their babies or getting their BFPs. I'm still watching you guys' videos. I just haven't been making any. So you guys take care, and I will be back with another update pretty soon. Bye.